Ladies and gentlemen, another day in the books for the Buffalo Bills, day 2 of training camp. And by the way, I would like to thank everybody that stuck around with me all morning as we reacted a live play by play reaction to everything that happened at camp this morning. As a reminder for anybody that's interested to tune in tomorrow, every single year during training camp, I consolidate all of the information that is coming from St. John Fisher and I give it to you so you are not in a situation where you need to play catch up, where you need to go through your entire workday, pull from a bunch of different sources. You get to hear the news break as it breaks across my computer screen. We have been welcoming quite a few great people into the community. So for those of you that joined this morning, man, we appreciate you. And for those of you that didn't have an opportunity of rocking with us, welcome to this show. All right. I have had some time to sit down with the information, with things that I liked from camp, things that I didn't like from camp, specifically standouts. And spoiler alert, I can tell each and every single one of you that hands down, the big standouts today were on the offensive side of the football. Day one, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the theme was the defense was the main storyline. We heard that the offense was having trouble gelling, or whether or not we wanted to give credit to the defense, what have you. But today was certainly a day for redemption on the offensive side of the football. I pointed out a couple of the storylines that I got from camp today. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'm sure a lot of other Bills creators are saying the exact same things. However, again, I just love talking ball, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity of rocking with each and every single one of you guys. As a reminder, I do want to remind everybody the easiest way to show some love on this channel is quite simply just by hitting that thumbs up sign for me. Right now, there is currently 38 of you rolling in on YouTube. If 38 of you could hit that like button, we could really push this out to the algorithm so more Bills fans that are looking to be informed at what happened today can be informed, right? 40 people watching right now. Let's get to 40 like buttons. If you're watching, hit that like button. Let's get into the conversation. As many of you know, I am very nosy and I do like to get a good understanding of how far Bills Mafia truly extends. Let's get a roll call in the chat. I want to understand where everybody is tuning in from. Roll call. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And more importantly, what team you're representing. Again, I can only imagine vast majority of you are Bills fans locking on in. All right. Let me see what I got. Doofy has come in. It's been a while, Doofy. Hope all is well. Thanks for getting me through the workday these past 2 days with your streams. Doofy, I am happy to be of assistance, my friend. I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow, each and every single day of training camp. So feel free to tune in, guys. We have quite a few things that we need to discuss. We have Ontario in the building. We have Tupelo, Massachusetts. Go Bills in the chat. My boy from Tampa, Virginia/Kentucky. You already know Buffalo, New York, Tupelo, Mississippi. My bad. Hey, man, what's going on? Mississippi's in the building. I can appreciate that. Watkins Glen, New York, a NASCAR town right there. Silver Creek, Grimsby, Ontario, Canada. New Jersey is in the chat. Aurora, Colorado. Go Bills. Jacob Dowd. Hope all is well. Guys, keep on keeping on. Lock it in and let me know where you're tuning in from. I know my friend Osiris is in Panama right now. No light like. Look at that. No light. Absolutely. Bills all day from Lackawanna. Fulton, New York is in the building. Folks, as you're coming in, make sure you hit that thumbs up sign for me. It's the easiest way to show love on this channel. We are unpacking everything that happened at camp, my biggest takeaways, and damn, let's get into it. Orange County, California. Don Mafia, Bills Mafia Madness, Queens, New York is in the building. F the Dolphins, F the Jets, F the Patriots. Let's go, Buffalo. Hi, Dan from South Florida. Matthew, what is going on, my boy? Williamsville, New York is in the chat. Columbus, Ohio. We are tuning in from St. Louis, Missouri. 113 heat index says, what's up? That is brutal. That is brutal, my friend. It is a scorcher here in the panhandle of Florida. I don't go outside between the months of June and August down here. I can tell you that much. Hey, Dan, who do you think is making CB1, CB2, CB3, and CB4? Brody, that is an excellent question. And we're going to get into that today. But I got to tell you, yesterday we were giving the flowers to the defense. That's for damn sure. But today the offense had an opportunity of being able to get revenge, get vengeance, establish the pecking order, and reminded everybody in the Bills fan base that we indeed still have it. It all started off, folks, and have no fear. I am going to start the stream off with a picture of Curtis Samuel, and we are going to get to him shortly. But Joe Brady ultimately ended up meeting with the media today. And I found this to be interesting because this is something that I have said on stream several times during the offseason. And was certainly refreshing to hear it come out of the offensive coordinator's mouth, where he said, look, I understand Buffalo was successful offensively last year. And he's damn right about that. This Buffalo Bills team, we were first in points on average once you include playoffs, and really overall dominant with the everybody eats type mentality. Don't fix what's not broken. I am a firm believer of that, sincerely. But then he ended up saying, I recognize that most defensive coordinators, at least the ones that are on our schedule, are going to be looking at the Buffalo Bills from 2024. And defensive coordinators, that is their job. Their job is to adapt year in and year out at how NFL defenses and offenses evolve. So he said that I think it would be foolish for us to go out in 2025 with the exact same playbook, but we still need to make tweaks with the new menu that has been received. And by new menu, I think he is referring to some of the new additions that we acquired in free agency, specifically Josh Palmer and then also Elijah Moore. So look for a slightly tweaked offensive attack from our good friend Joe Brady in 2025. I think that all of us can be excited for that, because who were to know a team that literally finishes number one in scoring all across the league could even have that potential in the first place. However, you will notice that the first person I have on this screen is Curtis Samuel. And folks, I do acknowledge that last year I was probably one of the biggest proponents for creating Curtis Samuel propaganda across the internet. I was very high on this wide receiver. I was sitting here saying, look, I'm making the comparisons between Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator, which just so happened to be Curtis Samuel's best season ever. I thought that he was going to shock the world with his speed, his separation. That is all a part of his skill set. But last year was largely a disappointment. Yes, we could go with the excuse that he was battling a turf toe injury, and the film would even suggest that as well. You look at 75 to 80% of all of his reps, a lot of them were passes behind the line of scrimmage, really weren't utilizing him at the second level, was not asking him to go out and run those intermediate routes, which I think that he would be absolutely excellent at. But this year, my expectations are sky high. And today is fueling my delusion, perhaps, because Curtis Samuel had a hell of a damn day today. 7 on 7s, 11 on 11s. Josh Allen was finding him early and often, in particular intermediate and short routes, all practice long. And folks, my God, we need this from this player. And it's not so much because I'm holding on to the illusion that Curtis Samuel is some sneaky wide receiver number one that we could not crack his potential in 2024. Why I need this to happen and why I need this to come to fruition in 2025 is because we are tied to him contractually. We signed him to a 3-year, $27 million contract, and moving away from him would be a dire financial decision, would actually hurt us from a cap perspective. So he has a cemented spot on this roster, contractually speaking, cap space speaking. So you're damn right I'm happy when I'm seeing him go out on the field and making the plays that I was imagining that he could make once we signed him last offseason. Now, I was looking at a couple of beat reporters that were discussing and perhaps even suggesting how he could be utilized because, like it or not, he has also been running several reps with the running backs. All right. So maybe a gadget guy, if you will, but so is Elijah Moore. I saw somebody on X point out, hey, maybe Joe Brady wants 2 gadget guys this year. And I wouldn't put that past him. Like, we're talking about the same guy that said that he refuses to actually pigeonhole a wide receiver into an X wide receiver or a Y or a Z wide receiver. He prides himself on building this offense from a personnel perspective to being almost unpredictable all across the board. So, love the fact that I heard that Curtis Samuel was finally getting his reps. Whether or not that we want to chalk it up that last year's turf toe injury indeed was the issue all along, and now he's going into 2025 ready to hit the ground running. Because those last couple of games during the season, once his number finally was called, including some of those playoff reps that we saw from the wide receiver, I know that his talent is there. And perhaps it was just the chemistry with Josh Allen and him being at 100% health going into the season, which is going to change everything. So Curtis Samuel, you're damn right. I am 110% on board with this performance today. I can almost guarantee you with that. So I had another standout. And by God, I am so happy this guy stood out today, boys. I am so happy Matt Milano had himself a day. Now, folks, Matt Milano, he has been subject to a lot of criticism from Buffalo Bills fans for the past couple of years. Now, not particularly his fault. I'm sure that he didn't go into the past 2 seasons thinking that he was going to have a knee injury and then the following offseason tear his bicep in training camp. However, some of the biggest question marks around this linebacker was, what kind of Matt Milano are we going to see in 2025? Is he even capable of being the same guy that he was, that we grew to love, the heart and soul, the DNA of our defense in 2025? Say that you wanted to make a way too early conclusion based off of one practice, I would say, yeah, he's back, because he had that kind of practice today. Made several plays, which would have been a tackle for loss. I wanted to say it was James Cook or Ty Johnson, one of the running backs that attempted to ended up running like a swing route out to the top. And you just see Matt Milano instantly reacting. Feet were fast, right on top of the ball. His speed, his acceleration, his change of direction, everything that we heard from Matt Milano, I swear to God, I thought that I hopped into a time machine and I was looking at training camp in 2021. Sincerely. Now, I really hope that he can stay healthy for the entirety of 2025, because I got to tell you, I have to tell you that we have yet to see a full season with Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard. But for some reason, I feel like he's going to be. And yes, it's probably not the best reasoning by any stretch of the imagination, but as we all remember, he had a couple of months ago 2 more years on his deal. But then Buffalo ended up shaving off a year for the veteran linebacker, meaning he's a pending free agent in 2026. I do not believe that he will be a Buffalo Bill next year. And it sucks, but that's the name of the game. Like, you look at Brandon Beane, and that has been his mentality for the past 2 years, or his end game is getting younger and cheaper. I would not be surprised if Matt Milano walks and we end up just trying to target a linebacker in next year's draft in some of the earlier rounds. But that doesn't hurt us. That does not hurt us, because like James Cook, which we will talk about a bit later, this puts a chip on Matt Milano's shoulder, because he realizes that he has been injured for the past 2 years, and he understands that this is his tryout for his final bag, whoever decides to bring him onto their roster next year. Perhaps he goes off, and perhaps he plays well enough where Brandon Beane decides that he wants to re-sign him to a new deal. I'm not right of that belief. However, the fact that Matt Milano had the practice that he did today, it's making me feel a hell of a lot better of, hey, maybe we're not going to see 100% Matt Milano, but damn, I take 80. And so I take 80% Matt Milano. I'm not sure about you guys. Very encouraging. And ironically enough, I think that he was probably the exclusive high performer today as far as the defense, because as mentioned previously, this offense was embarrassing the defense out there today. We can see. Doofy is saying, as weird as it is to say, I feel like just the right players are on contract years, and we might see some extra oomph from them for money, rather here or elsewhere. I totally agree with you. This offseason was a miracle that somehow, some way, we were able to bring back 4 of the 5 guys we were all worried about, especially considering our cap situation going into the 2025 season. Next year is interesting. We have a couple of guys that are pending free agents. I think most notably is Connor McGovern. He's one. And then we also have a couple of guys whose guarantees are running out as well. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say that Dion Dawkins' guarantees are running out next year too, so he'll likely be looking for an extension. There are going to be some players that are looking for some money. Typically, say that you're just interested to ever look at, hey, you know what, Dan, I'm kind of interested to see when contracts are about to run out. I would go to Spot Track and I would look at 2027 free agents, because more often than not, in 2026, that's the year where a player no longer has any guaranteed funds. And veterans, for the most part, don't like that. They don't like going into a season knowing that, say, for example, they get hurt, then they might not get paid, because that's how it is, right? So say that you're ever interested for realistically any NFL team on the face of the planet. Say that you want to figure out guys that are due for a contract extension. Always look at 2027 or 2 years down the road, pending free agents. That is typically a really good way of knocking it out. We have 80% of Matt is better than 90% of other linebackers. Speak it into existence, my friend. Speak it into damn existence. Folks, I got to tell you, I appreciate all of you joining me twice a day, Monday through Friday. This morning, we had well over 300 people rocking with me as I consolidated all the information pertaining to Bills training camp at St. John Fisher. And now we have 103. I got to ask you, once you're coming in, please do me a favor and just hit that thumbs up sign for me. You know, I do my best to make sure that all of Bills Mafia stays informed of what's going on with this team year round. So say that there's 103 people in here. There's no excuse why we shouldn't be at 103 thumbs up signs right here, folks. What we're trying to do is grow our community. And once you grow our community, man, that's more friends for us to talk ball with in the live chat. So I sincerely appreciate that, man. Let's pump this up to 100 like buttons. I think that we can get it done. Brody, who do you think will be the biggest standout in the red versus blue on Friday on offense and defense? I'll tell you what. It's this Friday. It's this Friday. I'll tell you what. Hold up. No. So I want to say it's next Friday, to be completely honest with you. It's too soon to say. Let me watch a couple of extra practices and we can go from there. And do you think we will re-sign James, or you will re-sign James? And if so, how big do you think his contract will be? That's a really good segue, because I'll tell you what. That was a big topic today, right? He's been a big topic all offseason. I mean, damn, I cannot tell you how many James Cook titles or James Cook topic videos I have had to do for the past few months. Ever since James Cook took to Instagram Live and pinned the comment $15 million per year, he has been a regular in the topics of YouTube. Let's be real. But it's good because crisis averted. He showed up to camp, right? He's a full participant, by the way. And might I tell you, he is being strangely utilized. He is almost at 100% utilization. He is involved quite a bit. He had a hell of a day at camp today. He ended up taking something for like 70 yards for a touchdown. A lot of emotion. And there we see a rare smile on James Cook's face. So it appears to be okay. We heard from Joe Brady earlier this morning that the business is the business. But watching James Cook interact with his teammates, you wouldn't tell that there's any sort of animosity with the organization and James Cook when it comes into money. He's happy to be there. And we heard from him when he sat down with the media during his presser. He did acknowledge it, right? Like, he did admit, he said, look, the only reason I'm here is I don't want to get fined. It's my job. I have to be here. I have to play football. And I got to tell you, I respect that guy. I really, really do. I respect that he's living up to his responsibility. He's coming in. He's not letting down his teammates. And he's hoping that this business side of things can work itself out. But here's the question. Is there more to this story? Is there more to this story, right? Because I look at this picture of James Cook and I see my man cheesing. What is going on behind the scenes, folks? Now, say that you were to ask me a few weeks ago, I probably would have stood pat on my take that I believe Buffalo is just going to do what they always do. Have James Cook play on the final year of his rookie deal and then allow him to hit free agency after the fact. Some other team will end up giving him a bag, and then we will go back to the draft and find his replacement and make that elevation for Ray Davis to be the RB1 that following season. But now I have questions, right? Because he almost seems to be too happy to be here. Is there a deal close with James Cook? Is there a deal? And I don't even particularly think that it has to do with Bean and Sean McDermott and Joe Brady think, oh my God, we have to have this guy on this offense in order to be successful. Maybe to a degree. But I think the driving factor here, folks, is this. Where Buffalo stands since TJ Sanders was brought onto the books, I can't confirm the exact number on the cap table because there's a variety of sources that have conflicting reports here. Whichever way you spin it, this Buffalo Bills team is hurting for cash. Especially say that we want to make a move at the trade deadline because we wanted to address somebody that got injured. I'm going to knock on wood. And so I'm hoping that is not a conversation we need to have, but let's be honest with ourselves. And this is like what happens in football all the damn time. Extending James Cook would more than likely create some cap space for the Buffalo Bills right now. It would. Right now, he is a $5 million cap hit right now. Bear with me. He's $5.7 million cap hit. And all of that is here. Let me go ahead. Let me share my screen right here so we have a good idea. $5.7 million against the cap right now. That is all in base salary this year. That is all exclusively in base salary. That is all it is. So say that Buffalo were to extend him, they could very easily end up knocking down his base salary, giving him a exceptional signing bonus, and probably creating like close to $3 to $4 million in cap. $3 to $4 million in cap if an extension were to come. So it wouldn't hurt Buffalo, at least presently. And also remember, as the NFL grows and as the NFL continues to get all of these streaming deals, like YouTube is paying them an arm and a leg, folks, for NFL Sunday Ticket. And so are all of these other streaming platforms that all of us need to download in order to enjoy the sport that we love. That money's feeding into the NFL. That's why the cap went up $30 million this year. That's why people are estimating that the cap is going to continue to go up around $30 million per year for the foreseeable future. So in all reality, how much is it going to hurt us? Even if it was $15 million a year, it's like $45 million. In 2 years, that's going to mean nothing because the cap's going to be up about $60 million if trends remain consistent. So it's something to think about. It's something to think about. As far as a deal for James Cook, I'd probably say, so I'd be completely fine with giving him a 3-year contract, $36 million, $30 million guaranteed. I genuinely feel like he would like that deal and he would take that deal. I do. However, who knows? Maybe Buffalo decides to go with their typical strategy of letting him play on his rookie deal and allowing him to walk next offseason. We don't know. All I'm saying is that it's fishy. He's smiling right there. All right. Like, why is my man smiling? We know that James Cook does not smile. Is something cooking. Like, subscribe, and share. Absolutely. We have Super Grova. I'm tired of planning for the future when we haven't won a championship. Yeah, we have Super Grova, man. He's had it, man. He wants that Super Bowl. More than he wants air. And I get it, man. Listen, we all share the same sentiment that we need to make it happen. Dan, what's up? How are them boys looking? Them boys looking good, man. Them boys are looking good. How did Maxwell Harrison and Christian Benford do today? From what I understand, Maxwell Harrison did got a couple of plays. And as far as Christian Benford, was pretty quiet. As far as the majority of the reports that came out today, as far as the clear-cut winners, a lot of them had to do on the offensive side of the football. So not a lot of storylines on the defense. I'm not sure if maybe a lot of people were just focusing in on the offense rather than the defense, since it appeared like they did that yesterday, but that's it. So I'll tell you what, we do got to talk about one more guy. Oh, one more guy. How about Keon Coleman, huh? How about Keon Coleman, man? One of the most polarizing players on this roster. It just depends on who you ask from Bills Mafia of their thoughts on this young man. Well, I'll tell you what, if you are a Keon Coleman hater, you are currently in shambles, my friend. You were in shambles because he had a damn day today. He was, I would say, probably one of the most productive wide receivers out on the field. And not even in red zone drills, because keep in mind, Buffalo moved out of the red zone today, and they were attacking, peppering intermediate routes all over that damn defense. And trust me, everybody was eating. You had Elijah Moore, you had Joshua Palmer, you had Khalil Shakir, who ultimately ended up taking one for about 70 yards too. It was a great day for the offense. But Keon Coleman, my friends, I read something, and I had to give it a double take because I didn't believe it. I saw verbatim that somebody claimed that Keon Coleman was creating consistent separation over the middle. I about lost it. You're telling me that Keon Coleman created, quote unquote, consistent separation over the middle. He needed this day because day one was very rough for him. And I got to tell you, I feel okay with day one from all of the reps from Keon Coleman, because number one, he was getting blocked by Christian Benford. Like, Benford, man, say that you give shit to Keon Coleman for his day one, then you are grossly showing little respect to Christian Benford. Sorry, I was sitting there. I was searching for the correct verbiage there. Don't disrespect Christian Benford for saying, oh my God, Keon, like he couldn't even get off of Christian Benford. Benford has locked down some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So I'm not going to look at that day one and say, okay. But today with Keon Coleman, he needed that. I love the fact that he was attacking the middle of the field, dig routes, crossing routes. That's what we need him for. His ability to create yards after the catch is on the table. That was something that he was very good at. He ranked very well among other qualifying NFL wide receivers last year in that category by itself. And I like that. I sincerely liked it. Shout out to our good friend Keon Coleman for having yet again another quality ass day. And then next up, I kind of want to throw in here my hot take of camp. Folks, I think Mitchell Trubisky's job is on the line. Now, it has nothing to do with me thinking that he is not the appropriate option for the Buffalo Bills at the QB2 slot. But it has everything to do with how QB3 has been performing, and that just so happens to be Mike White. Folks, Mike White has been impressing for the first 2 days. And I'm going to continue to point this out because I don't even think that Mike White is significantly better than Mitchell Trubisky. I think it's close, very close, based off of what I have been hearing as Mike White and Mitch Trubisky are hopping around teams, seconds and thirds, and getting their reps. And one thing continues to stand out to me, and that's going back into the cap. Because again, as I mentioned a bit previously, Buffalo is a bit tight-lipped, or their wallet is dangerously close to empty. And they need to make some sort of move in case they want some breathing room, in case the trade deadline comes with a desirable opportunity. And I keep looking at these numbers. I have Mitchell Trubisky at $3.2 million cap hit. Say, for example, that we were to release Mitchell Trubisky, then we would save, I want to say, close to $2.2 million almost immediately, and 3.2 off of our books. When you also end up comparing this, where's my boy Mike White? Where's my boy Mike White? Right here. $1.2 million would be the cap hit. Quite a difference, at least from when you're speaking from the Buffalo Bills perspective, because we are 32nd ranked in overall cap. Here's my thing. I think that Buffalo is going to go with Mike White as QB2 this year and make that decision exclusively based off of financial reasons. And I don't even necessarily think that Mike White needs to be better than Mitchell Trubisky. I don't even necessarily say that he needs to be just as good as Mitchell Trubisky. I think that as long as he is not significantly worse than Mitchell Trubisky, I have a feeling Mike White is the guy for financial purposes only. Because look, we can look at a couple of teams and say, oh my God, they're so lucky they have that QB2. Like, oh, like we need a better QB2. I hate to break it to you, folks, but 30 of the 32 NFL teams, if they were to lose their QB1 for about 7 to 8 games, they're not making the playoffs. A QB2, an elite starting caliber QB2, is a luxury that not many NFL teams have. So the luxury of enjoying. They just don't. So if Josh Allen goes down, we're screwed. It doesn't matter if it's Mitchell Trubisky. It doesn't matter if it's Mike White. It's over with. Hence why I think Buffalo is looking at this QB2 situation exclusively from a financial perspective. Go with Mitchell Trubisky and eat $3.3 million on the cap right now, or go with the cheaper option. Again, you heard it here first. As long as Mike White is not significantly worse than Mitchell Trubisky, he is going to be QB2 this year. He doesn't need to be better, and he does not need to be equal. He just doesn't need to be significantly worse, and it is Mike White's job. I'm telling you, man, listen, based off of the rumblings that we have been seeing all across camp, I'm feeling it, man. I am feeling it. We have Super Grava is coming in saying, if Josh goes down, we're virtually screwed. But I love to have the better of the two, regardless of the cap, for the sake to keep us afloat to win a championship. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It takes a special type of QB2 in order for that to happen. That, or you need a super team. And unfortunately, Buffalo does not have either. Like, we do not have a super supporting cast. We don't. I'm sorry. We don't, guys. It's largely a Josh Allen type team. And that's not a bad thing. Statement. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. For sure. For sure. I agree with you. Gary has come in saying, how do you feel about Hard Knocks being there? Question. And do you think it will be a distraction? I don't think so, Gary. I think that Sean McDermott has actually done a really good job at being able to build a culture and being able to build a bunch of focused men in the locker room. I don't think it will be a distraction. I'll tell you what, Gary, I am thrilled, very thrilled, that it appears that the James Cook situation has all but been resolved, at least from their relationship. And same thing with the TJ Sanders situation, which was also resolved a couple of days ago. Those were the two things that I was thinking, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, that's going to cause drama within the locker room, and they're going to pull James Cook aside, and he's going to say something. It's going to air on HBO. Josh Allen's going to be mad at him. Elijah Moore is going to be mad at him. So many hypotheticals in my head. However, it appears that both of those issues are fine, and it shouldn't be a problem. I, for one, am actually excited to watch my team behind the scenes. I really am. Because outside of what we hear from these players at the pressers or from very planned out public appearances, we don't really know them. And I feel that Hard Knocks is really going to give us an idea of who these players are. Even Bills Embedded, I feel like that didn't even really give us a good understanding of who these players are. Like, give me like what these guys' personalities are like. right? All across the board. Like, not like media trained Buffalo Bills players. Like, I want to see what these dudes are, and I want to get a good taste of what this culture really is over in Buffalo. I think that's exciting. So I am, for one, thrilled. Read about Hard Knocks. I saw every game Mike White played that year with the Jets. He's a better passer. I hope Mitch doesn't get the job because he's 17's buddy. I don't think they would do that, especially if they're about ready to save about $3 million. James Cook, 3-year, $39 million contract, $27 million guaranteed. We have October King. So you'd be flirting with so about $13 million a year. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't hate it at all. We have Mad Bros Gaming from Twitch has come in. Damn, look at that, man. Holy shit. Mike Green, guys, shout out to all the mods in the chat that always show me a little bit of love and keep the peace in this show. That is absolutely awesome. So we have with the embedded is more of a structured storyline. I think Hard Knocks will be more raw. And that's why I'm excited, Mark. That's why I'm excited about it, dude. All right, guys. That's going to have to do it. So as y'all know, I was live for 3 hours this morning. I will be live again tomorrow for 3 hours, breaking all of the training camp news as it comes across my screen. So if you haven't already, guys, I highly encourage that you subscribe and you turn on bell notifications. Just know when you come in and you watch me, the best way you can support me is just by hitting that little thumbs up sign, right? It propels it out to the YouTube algorithm so more people can discover it. I'm trying to build the largest Bills fan community on the internet in this live chat by itself, and we can accomplish that together as long as everyone pulls their weight and just hits a button that takes less than a second. So I am excited for what is to come. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. I hope each and every single one of you enjoyed the content today, and I am excited for round 3 tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Peace.